Another 30 for 30. You know, if the yellow shirt's on, probably a 30 for 30. But why Chinese men are turning to Russia in search for wives? It's a weird thing about Chinese culture. Well, maybe it's CCP culture, I guess you could say. There's a silent crisis, I guess you could say, it's unfolding in China, and it's one that's not really covered by the state media, and it's hidden behind all the flashy skyscrapers, the artificial GDP numbers, and it's not about real estate or TikTok. I guess you could say it's about marriage. It's about, desperation. It's about the one-child policy and how that's affected the country over time, and even Chinese culture. Right now, thousands of Chinese men are leaving their country. Again, not to escape necessarily the government per se in this case. It's not for freedom. It's to find a wife. Now, the destination, of course, is Russia, and let's talk about why. For decades, the Communist Party proudly boasted that its one-child policy was a great success. A necessary sacrifice, a bold move to modernize society, right? Another screw up by the government, apparently, obviously here. What they didn't tell you is that it created one of the most devastating demographic disasters in modern history. Thanks to decades of gender preference, state manipulation, China now has 35 million more men than women. What's the problem with that? Tens of millions of men with zero hope of ever marrying in their own country. That's the problem. But it gets worse, okay? Even the few women available are priced out. Because here's one thing I'll tell you. The unfortunate truth is that marriage in China today isn't built on love. Okay? It's built on cash. Especially in the countryside, rural areas. It's insane. You gotta have 500, 6,000 yuan just to get a bride. You gotta buy her 10 iPhones. You gotta do some stupid thing to impress the parents. It's nearly 100,000 US dollars in a country where the most rural men make $500 a month. Okay. And in expectations, they have to have a car, a house, a job. And marriage becomes, a luxury for the woman. So what happens? China is, I guess we will call them leftover men. And there's actually a term called leftover women also, but we'll talk about that in another video. These leftover men are turning to foreign countries, and they're looking for women who don't demand six figures. They're looking for women who aren't wrapped up in toxic expectations that, the CCP and insane culture has helped to create. And we're watching a trend explode here. Chinese men are marrying Russian and Eastern European women. Okay? And, TikTok, or, Douyin as it's called in China. If you get on Douyin and swipe through, it's full of it now. Videos of agents advertising matchmaking trips. Clips of Russian women smiling awkwardly to middle-aged Chinese farmers. Hashtags like Russian wife, love without money. You see it all the time, trending across these Chinese social media pages. And at a first glance, you're like, for a Westerner, you're like, what is this? And they try to make it look all heartwarming and hopeful, and it's not. It's actually it's tragic. Okay, it's pretty tragic. It's not romance. It's desperation. It's a market collapse of marriage. The system is so broken. It's so hollow. That people are literally leaving their own culture behind now just to feel that they have a chance. Think about that. Chinese people that are supposed to be run on culture, are leaving their culture. And make no mistake, it's the CCP's fault. It's China's fault. This isn't about too many men. This is about a system that engineered this imbalance. Okay? A system that said women weren't valuable unless they were sons. A system that punished families for having a second child. A system that pretends this didn't happen, while millions of men live without hope of a partner or a family or a future. Okay? Let's be honest. China's marriage culture is broken. It's become a transactional prison controlled by parents, dictated by money, and powered by fake status. It's not about compatibility. It's not about connection. It's about how much you can pay and who your parents are. Okay? It's not love. That's cultural Ponzi. That's like a cultural Ponzi scheme, I guess. It's collapsing, okay? So now the escape plan, let's go to Russia. Woo! And that might work for a while, right? Maybe they'll soak up some Russians there. But you're not solving the problem. You're exporting the failure, right? You're exporting the failure. You're just saying, we'll send them on over. And the CCP, they love it because it quiets the noise. It delays the collapse. It makes it look like people are choosing this, but they're not. They're priced out. They're pushed out, forced out. This is what desperation looks like, okay? And here's the kicker. Even these foreign marriages come with problems, okay? I've seen it happen in China a lot. Cultural barriers, language issues. Seen it with plenty of white guys in China. They don't speak the Chinese, and she doesn't speak the Yingwen, okay? It's kind of hard to have a relationship when you don't speak each other's language. It ends up in exploitation, divorce rates. It's not a fairy tale ending. It's a temporary band-aid on a systemic CCP engineered disaster is what it is. And we haven't even hit bottom yet, okay? It's going to get worse. Because the next wave is coming. The next wave is coming. It's going to be called the empty nest generation. A generation of only children. No siblings. No cousins, and no spouse. Millions of Chinese men born alone, raised alone, and destined to die alone. All because the government played God with their population. So next time someone tells you that China's thriving, China's thriving. Show them this video. Show them the marriage market crash. Show them the TikToks of men begging foreign women to marry them. Show them how far a man will go across borders, across cultures, across language, just to find someone who won't ask him for $100,000 to say yes. This isn't strength. This is a collapse. And it's dressed up in a wedding dress in this case, I guess you could say. Final thoughts, I guess. If I had to put anything together, CCP obviously created this mess, as they always do. And now they're watching their citizens flee to foreign countries just to feel human again. Just to have a family, just to love without bankrupting themselves. But you can't patch a broken system with international brides. You can't escape the consequences of authoritarian engineering. And you can't hide the truth behind a smiling TikTok. The marriage market in China isn't just collapsing. It's given up. And millions of men, poor, lonely, discarded, are being left behind. This is what modern China really looks like. Hope you like this video. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, have a good day.